I'm Mehta, Editor-in-Chief of Breaking Defense. We are here at the Sea, Air, and Space Conference outside of Washington, D.C. I'm joined by Justin Katz. He's our guru in all things Navy. We're going to break down the top storylines from the first day of the show for you. Justin, let's start right at the beginning. The CNO was joined by some other key naval leaders this morning, made some top-level comments. What did you hear from that?
Absolutely. So Admiral Gilday told us that when the Navy delivers its next force structure assessment, that'll probably be sometime in the next couple months, he believes that assessment is going to show that the Navy needs more than 373 ships in its fleet. It's not necessarily surprising the CNO would say that, but these FSAs are important for two reasons. One, they keep the Navy on track, so they know exactly what their requirement is. And two, they are inevitably used by lawmakers as fodder to stomp ground for more shipbuilding funds.
And they're always delivered on time to Congress, exactly as they expect.
Sure, that's what the Navy says.
All right, so let's talk about next kind of keynote that happened in MARAD. Can you spell that out for us?
Yeah, MARAD stands for the Maritime Administration. They are a part of the Department of Transportation, and they are kind of the government's civilian side of shipping. The Navy handles warships. MARAD handles auxiliary and support ships.
And that's a lot of the supplies that if there was a conflict would have to be shipped out to military abroad, right?
Absolutely, and that's part of the news of what we heard today from the Maritime Administrator, Ann Phillips. She is a retired Navy admiral. What she told us was that the government is working with all best speed on Surge Sealift Recap. That is the plan to revitalize the Ready Reserve Fleet, the ships that would actually haul U.S. Army, Marine Corps, ground supplies overseas. But she also warned that, there is no more room for lapses. Government leaders over the years have told us that 2025 is when a real emergency could happen with sealift capacity. And she was straightforward that there is no more time for mistakes.
All right, so something to keep an eye on. From an industry perspective, obviously some announcements throughout the day, but the one that caught my eye was about TACAMO, which is the Navy's next generation NC-3 nuclear command and control plane, essentially the plane that if there was need to launch a nuclear weapon from a U.S. submarine would be the one to pass that message along. What did we learn today?
Absolutely. So on the TACAMO warplane competition, we now have two big industry teams emerging. Today, Northrop Grumman announced that they have a trio of primes themselves. They have Lockheed Martin Skunk Works joining their team for this competition, and they also have Raytheon's Intelligence and Space Business Unit joining their team, as well as some other smaller companies. On the opposing team, we have Collins Aerospace, who also confirmed to us that the privately owned aerospace firm Sierra Nevada Corporation will be joining their team. They didn't tell us any of their other team's members. The reason that it's interesting that Collins is competing against Northrop in this way is that Collins Aerospace is a subsidiary of Raytheon.
Right.
So we now know that Raytheon is going to be playing both sides of the fields here. It is early days, so there could be more competitors coming in, but as of right now, the two big teams will have parts of Raytheon on it. And the other thing to know is that it sets up three major defense prime contractors, Raytheon, Lockheed, and Northrop, to go against Collins Aerospace. They are an NC-3 powerhouse. They've been a part of this mission for more than 60 years.
Going back to the Enola Gay, right? The original plane to first drop a nuclear weapon.
That is correct. Their executive told Breaking Defense that they've been involved in pretty much every TACAMO warplane in some form or fashion, from the Enola Gay all the way up to the current fleet, the E-6B Mercury.
All right, so obviously a lot to keep track of. The good thing is you can always go to breakingdefense.com to see all the news out of the show. Justin and I will be back here with you tomorrow to break down day 2. Until then, we'll see you later.